Asterisk, asterisk. The soft rebellion. Why building from nothing is the most radical thing you can do. Asterisk, asterisk. I want to tell you about someone who is rewriting the rules of what it means to start over. Her name is Patrice Richardson, and on Christmas Eve, she's releasing a book called I Am.PATRICE. This book is not just a collection of words on a page, it's a declaration. It's a testimony. It's proof that you can have absolutely nothing, feel completely invisible, and still build something that changes lives, including your own. Patrice is not waiting for permission. She's not waiting for perfect conditions. She's building a brand, a movement, a legacy from the ground up. And she's doing it with grace, grit, and an unshakable belief that her story matters. She's making the world better by showing us that our current season, no matter how empty it feels, is not our final story. And today I want to share what I learned from her about what it really takes to push through when it looks like you have nothing. Let me be honest with you. There are seasons in life where it genuinely looks like you have nothing, not in a motivational poster kind of way, not in a cute Instagram caption way. I mean, the kind of nothing that keeps you up at night, the kind that makes you wonder if you heard the call wrong, if you misread the signs, if maybe you should have just stayed in that job you hated, or that relationship that drained you, or that version of yourself that everyone else was comfortable with. And if you're in that season right now, sitting in the quiet, feeling the weight of invisibility, wondering if anyone even remembers your name, I need you to hear this. Your current season is not your final story. It is not a prophecy, it is a chapter, and chapters by definition are meant to turn. But here's where it gets tricky. Because when you're in the middle of nothing, when you're trying to build something from scratch, the world doesn't pause and wait for you to feel ready. Bills still come, doubts still whisper. People still ask what you're doing with your life, and you still have to answer, even when the answer feels flimsy and half formed. So, how do you keep going? How do you build a brand, a business, a life that reflects who you really are when it feels like you're starting from zero? Let me tell you about a woman named Sarah Jakes Roberts. If you don't know her story, you should. Sarah is the daughter of Bishop T.D. Jakes, which sounds like it would make life easier, right? Except Sarah became pregnant at 13, gave birth at 14 under the public eye. As a pastor's daughter, the world watched her fail, or at least that's what they called it. She navigated divorce, depression, and the crushing weight of feeling disqualified from the very purpose she was born into. For years, Sarah's life was defined by what went wrong: teen pregnancy, divorce, the bishop's daughter who messed up, the whispers in the pews, the judgment in the headlines. She could have hidden, she could have stayed small, she could have let that narrative be the final word. But she didn't. Instead, Sarah chose to be radically honest about her story. She invested in therapy, spiritual growth, and community support. She started writing, speaking, preaching from her lived experience. She turned her pain into a message. And today, Sarah Jakes Roberts is a best-selling author, a co-pastor of the Potter's House at One LA in Denver, and the founder of Woman Evolve, a global women's movement that fills arenas and reaches millions. Her book, Woman Evolve, became a bestseller, cementing her as a leading voice for women healing from shame. Her conferences sell out. She's become a sought after speaker and spiritual leader for a new generation of Black women seeking wholeness. Sarah's story shows us that no matter how public the pain, no matter how final the failure looks, you can push through and build a powerful brand and movement from your lowest moments. And here's what I want you to catch: Sarah didn't wait until she felt healed to start helping. She didn't wait until her life looked perfect to share her story. She started from the mess, she built from the broken place. And that's where the power was. Because your story, the one you're living right now, even the parts that hurt, even the parts you wish you could skip, That story is your power, and it deserves to be seen, shared, and yes, paid. What you survived, what you rebuilt from, what you're still pushing through, that's not just inspiration, that's the foundation of a brand and message that can serve others and sustain you. But let's be real. Consistency is hard, especially when you feel like quitting, especially when nobody's watching, especially when the results aren't coming fast enough and you're wondering if any of this even matters. Let me introduce you to Myleik Teal. Myleik is the founder of Curlbox, a subscription box company that transformed how Black women discover hair products and became a multi-million-dollar brand. But before Curlbox, Myleik was laid off multiple times from corporate jobs. She faced financial instability and uncertainty. She wanted to create something specifically for Black women's hair in an industry that often overlooked them, but she had very limited resources. After several layoffs, Myleik hit a point where playing it safe no longer felt safe. She had no guarantees, just an idea and a willingness to bet on herself. She started Curl Box in 2012 with limited funds, packaging boxes herself, learning logistics on the fly. There were moments where shipping issues, inventory problems, and cash flow challenges could have shut everything down. Moments where it would have been easier to go back to corporate, to stop dreaming, to accept that maybe this wasn't meant for her. But she chose to keep pushing. She refined systems. She grew sustainably. She built relationships with brands that had never thought about Black women as a primary market. And today, Curlbox is a seven-figure business. Myleik helped shift how major beauty brands see and serve Black women. She built a respected platform where she shares unfiltered lessons about work ethic and discipline. Her journey proves that getting laid off and starting from financial and emotional uncertainty doesn't have to be the end. It can be the doorway to your real assignment. Consistency beats perfection, especially when you feel like quitting. The people who make it are rarely the ones who had it easiest. They're the ones who kept showing up when it stopped being cute, convenient, or comfortable. Tiny, consistent steps, writing one more page, posting one more time, making one more call. Those steps compound into transformation. And I know what some of you are thinking, but I'm tired. I've been strong for so long. I've been grinding, hustling, holding it together. And now you're telling me to keep pushing? Yes, but not the way you've been pushing. Not from that place of survival, improving, and performing. I'm talking about pushing from a place of softness, from a place of self trust, from a place where you're no longer carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations, from a place where rest is not a reward for exhaustion, but a practice of reverence. Let me tell you about Tabitha Brown. Tabitha spent years in Los Angeles as a struggling actress with little financial stability. She dealt with chronic pain and illness that left her unable to work consistently. She faced repeated rejection in the entertainment industry and pressure to give up on her dreams. For decades, Tabitha worked odd jobs, cared for her family, and pursued acting roles that rarely came. She auditioned, she waited, she hoped, and she heard no more times than she could count. Her health crisis brought her to a breaking point. The pain was unbearable. The bills were mounting. The dream felt like it was slipping through her fingers. Going vegan improved her symptoms, and she started filming simple videos from her car and kitchen, often while still unsure how bills would get paid. For years, there was no sign that it would work, no viral moment, no big break. She simply kept showing up with softness, faith, and consistency. Um, and then something shifted. People started watching, not because she was loud or flashy, but because she was real, because her voice felt like home. Because in a world that demands we perform, Tabitha simply showed up as herself. Today, Tabitha Brown has millions of followers. She landed partnerships with major brands and created her own product lines. She published a best-selling book, Feeding the Soul, and became a beloved voice of comfort and encouragement. She won an Emmy for her children's show, Tab Time. Tabitha built a multi-million dollar brand rooted in kindness, faith, and food. Her story shows that you can embrace a calm, soft, loving tone and still build a powerful, profitable brand without pretending everything was always easy. Her journey is a living example of pushing through when it looks like nothing is happening and letting your authentic self be the foundation of your business. So here's what I want you to understand. Building from nothing is not a deficit, it's a design. It strips away everything that isn't essential. It forces you to get clear on who you are and what you're really here to do. It teaches you that your worth is not tied to your bank account, your follower count, or how many people remember your name. Your worth is inherent. Your story is valuable, and your willingness to keep going, even when it looks like nothing is happening, is the most radical act of faith you can offer. Patrice Richardson is living this truth right now. She's building I Am.PATRICE from the ground up, and she's doing it with grace, grit, and an unshakable belief that her story matters. She's not waiting for the perfect moment. She's not waiting for more resources. She's starting with what she has, and she's building something that will outlast the season of nothing. And so can you. Your current season is not your final story. Consistency beats perfection, especially when you feel like quitting. And your story is your power, and it deserves to be seen, shared, and paid. So here's what I'm asking you to do: not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, today. Stop waiting for perfect conditions and take one courageous step this week. Write one page of your own story or book, post one honest piece of content about your journey. Register your business name or buy your domain. Set aside 30 minutes daily to work on your brand, even if you feel like you have nothing right now. Create a push through plan for your hard days. Write down 3 small actions you commit to take, even when you feel discouraged. Journal, send one pitch, make one follow up call. Keep that list visible so when life looks bad, you still know how to move. Because here's the thing: your current season, the one that feels like nothing, the one where you're building from scratch, where you're figuring it out as you go, where you're tired and unsure and wondering if you're doing it right, this season is not your final story. It's the chapter where you learn who you really are. It's the chapter where you discover what you're made of. It's the chapter where you build the foundation for everything that's coming. The world doesn't need another person playing small. The world doesn't need another person hiding their story because they're afraid it's not polished enough. The world needs you, the real you, the you that's been through something, the you that's still standing, the you that's willing to build from nothing and turn it into something that matters. So go write that page, post that content, make that call, take that step, because the world is not just waiting for what only you can build, the world is depending on it.